What's up, King Cats? Welcome back to my channel. I am so excited for today's video, and I know you guys are going to be too because you've been blowing up both of our DMs about it. If you don't know, this is one of my best friends. This is Kayla Darbyshire. She's not only one of my best friends, but she is an extremely talented photographer, and she does the vast majority of my photography. And we are here today because we are launching presets for you guys. So if you're not familiar with what presets are, it's kind of like a filter, but better. So presets are used in the app called Lightroom, and we'll explain a lot more about that later. But presets, in my opinion, are better than filters because you can edit more specifically, whereas a filter, it's like you slapped a preset on something, but you're not able to adjust any of the details within a preset. You just can adjust the filter as a whole, if that makes sense. Whereas with presets, you can get in there in a lot more detail. And I get a lot of questions about how I plan out my feed, how my feed is so pretty, like what presets, filters I use. And so Kayla and we were like, let's do some together, because she does so much of my photography and so much of my editing that she's a large part of why my feed looks the way that it does. And she's also a photographer, so she knows how to create that stuff, whereas I don't. So what's up, Kayla?
Yeah, I'm honestly just feeling a ton of pressure right now. I mean, what do you have, like 50,000 subscribers or something crazy? Yeah, so this is my second time being on video, and I have to say I'm a little nervous, so don't make fun of me, please be nice. But yeah, I'm really excited to be a part of this with you, and I'm really excited because I've also wanted to launch presets, and I just haven't really been pushed to do that yet, and Emily was like, hey, we really need to do this. Yeah. Everyone asks me all the time, and it would be a great collab, so we're really excited.
Yeah, so we are launching the EMANDDARBYPRESETS. That is like the overarching name. I'll put our Instagram handle up here. It's just EMANDDARBYPRESETS on Instagram. So you will be able to purchase these presets for yourself this upcoming Friday, the 4th at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's when it will be available. There is no limited stock, so it's not like you have to there's only 50 people that can buy these. It's not like a physical product where only so much stock is made. It's an unlimited amount of purchases, an unlimited amount of downloads, but that's when they will launch. I will link that in the description box below so you know exactly where to go, exactly which tab to click so that you can purchase these and download. We're gonna give you all sorts of download instructions, how to do everything, stuff like that. Do you kind of want to tell them about the Instagram featuring, all that stuff?
Yeah, so if you follow us on Instagram at EMANDDARBYPRESETS, we will be featuring people who tag us and use the hashtag EMANDDARBYPRESETS. So one of the requirements is that you do have to use the preset, obviously, but feel like I need to put that in there. So just tag us and use the hashtag, and we'll make sure to feature you. The other thing I wanted to kind of mention is if you ever have any trouble with the presets, we do have a support email, and that's presetssupport@KaylaDarbyshire.com. We'll put that below as well.
Perfect. And we're going to do some weekly features on there to help you guys edit photos if you're having trouble editing them, stuff like that. We're definitely also going to be featuring a lot of you guys' photos that you sent in. So you guys were super awesome when we first had an idea for this project. We needed test photos, and so many of you guys sent photos to Kayla so that she could test the presets on them, adjust the presets, stuff like that. So if you sent a photo to Kayla, we're going to try and upload as many of those as we can to the Instagram so that you can have your edited photo. Also, when you share your photos with us on Instagram, use the hashtag, tag us EMANDDARBYPRESETS, but then also let us know in the caption or something like that which preset you use, the actual name of which one you use, if that makes sense.
Just a great call out.
Yeah, just to help us out. So we are both super jazzed about this, and we're both people that we just love pretty things, obviously. So she's a photographer, so obviously she loves beautiful photos. I'm a content creator, I love beautiful photos. We're also both very passionate just about fashion, art, creativity, all of that stuff. So this first preset pack, it's actually going to be called the September issue. If you guys keep up with fashion history, anything like that, you know that September is a pivotal time in the fashion industry. It's the time right before the fall and winter collections launch, which are the most fundamental collections in any design house, I would argue. So we named that after one of the most iconic times in fashion. If you know, the September issue of Vogue is a huge issue. So we're using these presets as a way for you guys to create a creative feed, a beautiful feed, a fashion forward feed, if you will. And you guys sent us some pretty glam photos. Yeah. So I would say we were very much so inspired by you guys too. So you can create your own September issue on your feed with these presets, and we've divided it into two kind of sections based on the tone of photos. So we're going to have a cool pack and a warm pack. So do you want to?
Yeah. So as Emily mentioned, we named the actual pack of presets after the famous September issue of Vogue. But we also found some inspiration from Tom Ford.
So we actually chose Tom Ford and Louis Vuitton both. So the Tom Ford preset pack is, and you'll get both of them when you purchase, but the Tom Ford preset pack is more of our cool preset pack. It's very moody. It's more of those cool tone photos. So we named those Fog, Musk, and Ombre, just after kind of some of the inspiration that we drew from his photos, his ads, stuff like that. Obviously, I'm a big fan of the scent Ombre leather.
Oh yeah, I'm wearing it right now. So we also drew inspiration from Louis Vuitton. And those names are going to be Alma, Portofino, and Dauphine.
Yeah, so if you've ever noticed like these signature Louis Vuitton bags, these signature packaging, like the bags that they put your bag in, it's very warm, it's very like punchy, if you will, like you know something is Louis Vuitton when it's Louis Vuitton. So we have our cooler, moodier, gray, blue Tom Ford inspired pack and our warmer, nudier is that a word? Our warmer preset pack was inspired by Louis Vuitton, which is our warmer preset pack. So we were super excited. So yeah, everything is very fashion inspired in this collection. We're going to get into kind of how to use those and stuff like that. So something that I've noticed, I purchased a couple of preset packs in my day and I just never end up using them. I would always end up editing my stuff manually.
Oh yeah, I've spent hundreds of dollars. John, my fiance, please don't watch this. I've spent a lot of money on presets and I would dispose of them because I thought I'm gonna put this preset on this beautiful photo and it just didn't work. This was before I was a little experienced in this field, but yeah, we can teach you how to adjust that so that each preset will work on your photo. I don't know if you have any stories about downloading presets, but
I would okay, I'm gonna do an example actually because I have some of the old presets that I've purchased on my phone and like I'll blur out the names so I'm not like throwing shade at anyone. But like when you slap a preset on a photo, and I'll use the photo that we're gonna edit with our presets as well, and I'll pop the screen recording up on the screen. But when you put a preset on a photo, it's not intended to be used just thrown on like a filter. There's adjustments that need to be made. Very rarely can you put a preset on a photo and be able to just like walk out the door with that. So I'm gonna show you one that is from a well-known fashion blogger. I actually forget which fashion blogger it is, but I know it was a fashion blogger. I would never post this in my life. Like,
no. Overexposed. Very overexposed.
It's so bad. It's just really bad. And like you buy these and you're so excited. You're like, yes, I'm gonna have a pretty feed, and then it's disgusting. So we're going to show you how to kind of manipulate a preset, some kind of do's and don'ts, some things to look out for when it comes to the kind of photos that you're using with a preset and stuff like that. So Kayla is going to be a lot more educated on that. So I'm gonna have Kayla take over and kind of talk about how to pick which you should use. If you should use the warmer tone presets, the cooler tones, kind of what went into the thought process behind all of those, and then we'll get into some troubleshooting showing you how to make it work.
Yeah, so at the beginning of all of this, in developing the presets, I only had photos of myself and Emily to really go off of. And so what I wanted to do is make sure that at the very beginning, we were very thoughtful in making sure that any preset that we applied to our photos would work for anyone. So
with these preset packs, something that I noticed that Kayla noticed as well is that a lot of times when you see preset companies, you only see them used on, I'm just gonna put it out there, white female influencers photos. And that's a huge problem to us just because we want everyone to be able to enjoy these. So we wanted it to be super inclusive. So when we had people send in photos, we made sure, or Kayla made sure, since she did the majority of the editing with these, that we included a wide variety of just skin tones, backgrounds, environments, everything. Because like, even if you look at the two of us, we're very different skin tones. So like, we can't even use the presets the same way. I'm very olive toned, like, and so different colors will pull differently on me. Kayla's more on the pale side. We use photos of people that are all sorts of backgrounds just to make sure that everything would be super inclusive so that if you want to buy these and use these on your feed, that they will work for you.
A lot of photos are taken on iPhones, which oftentimes don't always have the best quality lighting. You can get lots of orange tones, shadows. There are other times where you're getting lots of like overexposure, things like that. So I wanted to make sure that we developed a preset that would complement each occasion. And so each set of presets, warm or cool, should mitigate any issues you have with those types of photos. So if you're working on a photo that is more warm, has orange tones, lots of shadows, then you're gonna wanna use the cooler presets. If you're working on a photo that is cooler, has lots of blues, tons of overexposure or just a little overexposure, which means it's super bright, then you're probably going to want to warm it up with one of our warm tones. And something to note would be that I typically use the warmer presets because I am a lighter complexion, whereas with Emily, anytime I'm editing her photos, recently I've been using the cooler presets on you.
Same. And like even when we were in the process of creating these, like I would try and put the warm ones on my photos, and like I would literally send them to her and be like, why is this not working? And she'd be like, it's not them, it's you. It's your coloring, it's your toning. And I was like, oh, this makes sense, because like it's like how magnets, like the same repels, like positive will repel positive. So like I definitely sway more towards the cool ones, and they look a lot better on my skin tone.
Yeah, that doesn't mean that you can't use either though. I've used the warmer presets on the warmer skin tones. You just have to make some adjustments, which we'll show you, and we could probably do that.
Yeah, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna do some live editing with some of these photos, just so that you guys have like a real time, oh, this is how you go in and adjust them, and you'll be able to see, so that there's no, they bamboozled us. When you first slap these on your photos, like I will be the first to tell you that these do not look, like my photos do not look like how they do when I first slap the preset on. All right, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to open up my Lightroom app, and I'm gonna use one of the photos that we did. If you guys remember the elevator sign pictures, I'm gonna use one of the ones that you've never seen before, and I'm gonna show you how we edit them. All right, so I will put the actual name. I just have these saved in here right now as like our draft name, so I'll put the actual name of which preset I used on the screen so that you guys know, like, oh, I used fog, I used musk, I used ombre, whichever one it is. So we are gonna go with this one.
Yeah, and so this one you can tell, it's just, to me, it's a little too pink on your skin tone.
And you can see like my skin gets washed out a little bit, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I would personally rather it get washed out, because I know when I go into these settings, I can warm my skin back up a little bit, versus the other ones, like it's harder for me to adjust well. So I'm gonna go into color, and I'm gonna go into mix. And when you get your presets, there's going to be a full PDF document showing you how to download these and how to upload them to your phone or to your computer or both. So what I'm gonna do now is the first thing I'm gonna go in and do is adjust the oranges, because my skin does pull a little bit more orangey in photos. And we see the luminance is up here. So what I'm gonna do, and that's, correct me if I'm not using the right terminology, but it just, luminance makes that particular color brighter. So what you're going in and doing here when you're doing this color mix is you're isolating colors within the photo. And this is what you can't do with filters, that you can only do with presets.
Yeah.
So I'm bringing the luminance down, and go ahead and say
no, this is correct. So Emily is exactly right. Whenever you turn the luminance up, if you're on a red color or an orange color, for this example, it's going to brighten or darken that under luminance.
And we can kind of play with it so you can see, like if I were to really crank up the luminance on my skin, that's what it looks like. If I were to really crank it down, that's a scandal waiting to happen.
Oh yeah.
Like, we don't need that.
No.
So we brought the oranges down a little bit in luminance, and then I oversaturated them just a tiny bit. With the yellows, just a quick note, if you're somebody that's trying to make your whites really, really bright in your photos, I found it really helpful to go into the yellows, desaturate them, and raise the luminance. Now you have to be careful with this. If like your skin pulls a little bit yellow, as mine does at times, like if you do that too much, you can distort like your skin coloring. But good tip for if you need a little bit of white brightening. Now with the saturation of the, I guess I would call this aqua or like teal.
Yeah, and I think it's important to note too, like these are going to desaturate a lot of the colors throughout your photos. So that's fixable. And right now what we're gonna do is we're gonna look at the aqua and we can saturate it just a little bit more, because Emily did really like the blues in this photo. That's why we chose this spot. And so it complements her skin really well. So we want to bump those up a bit. So right now she's just turning the saturation up to a point that she likes. And
I'm doing the same thing with the blues as well, so that we get a little bit more of that denim color.
Yeah.
And there we go. Now with this, if I wanted to go in, let's check and see where. So the clarity on this is up 3. Clarity is basically going to soften or kind of harden the details in your photo. If that is that like a good way
it's
to
definitely
put it?
gonna harden them. I always find that adding clarity in a low light photo, you're not gonna like it. So if you have a low light photo and you add these presets onto it, it's only at +3 on this specific filter or preset. So you may need to either turn that up or down to get the look you desire.
So I honestly don't even want to do anything with like the exposure, the contrast, shadows, whites, anything like that. But just so you guys can see, I'll put it back to where it normally was. If we bring the shadows down, that's obviously going to darken the shadows. We bring them back up, that lightens all the shadows. We'll just put it there. With the whites, if we darken the whites, that brings those whites down. If we bring them up, that brings them up. And if you have it too much, it looks super fake. So we're just going to bring those there. And there we have a finished Instagram ready photo.
It should be a really subtle edit as well. It's not supposed to be in your face, over edited. We want this to be very tasteful, and that's why Emily's feed looks the way it looks. Everything's done very thoughtfully and tastefully.
Thanks so much.
All right, so now I'm going to take you through how to edit some of the photos we've got. I've specifically chosen these based on just trying to show you different examples of skin tones, different lighting effects you have. You know, some of these are going to be overexposed, low light, things like that. So I want to show you what I would do if I were editing these. So right now we've got a photo that was sent in to us. Actually, all of these photos were sent in to us that I'm about to show you.
So thanks, guys.
Thank you. So we're going to open up our app, and as Emily mentioned earlier, we need to rename these. So she's going to pop the actual name of the preset onto the screen. But we've walked through each of these, and I think that I like number 4 best. I just really feel like it complements all of the tones in the photos. But you can see that it's a little washed out. We're losing a lot of the blues. It looks a little bit unrealistic. You know, you're not gonna have gray water.
Hopefully.
Hopefully not. That could be weird. So what I'm gonna do now is just go into the color feature here and go into mix. Because I want to bump up some of these blue tones throughout the photo, I'm going to play with the saturation. Right now, luminance is in a good spot in my opinion, but we're going to just bump some of these colors up. I really like it a little bit better with these blues because it complements her bathing suit, and so I'm really big on complementary colors, so orange and blue.
And it helps it stand out on a feed too.
I agree with that. And this, I want to make some of the greens and the trees behind her pop a little bit, so I'm going to go in here and I'm just going to pull these colors up. So they were completely desaturated, now we're resaturating them. You can do that to whatever look you want. If you want them super saturated, do it. I wouldn't, but do it. And just try to be very thoughtful with everything you do, so you don't want it to look unrealistic. And then the next thing I'm probably going to do, just to show you, is if you're wanting a more warmer brown, you could go in here and enhance the oranges in her skin, or you could decrease that. It's going to give her a little bit of a cooler brown. It's whatever you're wanting. So I'm just going to take that back to where it was. Something to be mindful of whenever you are editing anything that it could have a reflective, you could be in a reflective setting. So right now she's in a pool, so you're getting some
water.
You're getting some reflections from the water, and you primarily see that on her leg area. So if she's wanting to warm up her legs a little bit, we're gonna just go back in and play with some of the aqua colors. So you see a lot of blue in her legs. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna pull that up a little bit, and then you can turn that down. You're not seeing too much happen because it's very light, but you can pull that luminance down and you'll see it in her legs. I'm not going to do that because I actually like the look we have right now.
It looks very beach edit.
Yeah.
Which, like,
we like.
We love vacay.
We love it.
Because we're not on one.
Always dreaming. Okay, so we have another photo. I'm getting very like Iceland vibes here, but I know that you're likely not in Iceland because you're in a swimsuit, so be a little cold.
They do have those like hot springs there.
Oh, that's true. Maybe
I want to go to Iceland.
Can you
so
please tell us where you were, because I want to go.
Yeah.
I need to go have a photo shoot here.
Yeah. We'll do a destination edit if you guys want to send us on a vacation. We'll do special presets.
Wait, where should we go?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let us know. We want to have an excuse to go on vacation.
Tax write-off.
All right, so I'm gonna edit this.
I would do it.
I'm gonna walk through each preset just so you can see the examples of like what it looks like. You'll see that some do not look good, but I'm gonna walk you through that. So this first one, it's a little too washed out. I like this one.
I like that direction that that's going.
I think that one's nice too. She still is a little washed out here. I like her natural tones she has in her skin, and I don't want to lose that. If you want to be really tan, this is a great option for you. That tones it down a little bit. That might be a good happy medium. And then there's this one, which kind of balances both of those. So I think that I like 5. But I do feel like there's a little bit too much green in here. I don't know how you feel, Emily, but I feel like there's a little bit of green in her skin that wasn't there previously.
You just like start to pick up on like a tinge, and this is like what I would pick up on when I would try and use these on mine, because this person is like an in-between skin tone, and like sometimes, especially when I am more tanned, I feel like I'm an in-between in terms of like a fair and a dark. So yes.
And I'll show you how you can get away with using either option on her.
Yeah, because this is one of the warm ones.
Yeah, this is a warm preset. So as you can see, we're +1 towards the green.
Or the purple.
Yeah. So what we're gonna do is actually just go the other direction, opposite of green, because we felt there was too much green. We're gonna add in some of that pink purple, just to kind of help offset that a little bit. So if I go all the way over, you can see what it does. We don't want to do that. You are not Barney. But there we go. So I feel like that's a little bit better. I do feel like some of the shadows are a little too dark on this one, so I'm just going to go into light, and I'm going to decrease those just a bit and take some of the blacks down just so I can see her hair a little bit better. And so just to show you, if we do that a lot, not too big of a fan of that, but I think I like that. How do you feel?
I do too. And like I've noticed that when people take blacks and shadows up too much, it almost looks like that old like photo booth sketch edit. Like, and I don't like that. No. That's like when people start to take on that like Play-Doh-y appearance in their photos that I'm not a fan of.
Kind of washes you out.
This literally just looks like you lucked it to the perfect aesthetic photo.
Oh yeah. I think this is worthy of M's feed.
I agree. This is M feed approved. Yeah. Like I could pop this in there right now.
All right. Great. So I'm going to show you now how we could edit with a cooler tone on her. You get the best of both worlds with this one. So this one, again, it's a little too washed out for me. The second one I like because you get those cooler tones, but it doesn't wash her out completely or add pink. This one adds a little too much pink for me, so I'm going to jump back to the second one and we're going to play around with this. So I don't want to wash her skin out, so I'm going to go back in and add some of those skin tones. Bump that up. And you could continue to play around with it in the ways that we have.
Love it. Okay, so just a couple more just general photo editing tips before we close this video out. First of all, if you guys do decide to purchase these presets, like I said at the beginning, there will be a video guide with just a voiceover and screen record of how to actually download and upload these to your phone. It is a little bit of a process, but that's how you use mobile presets or downloadable presets. So that will be available when the presets launch. Now, kind of getting into just some general photo taking and editing tips. I'll give a couple of mine, then Kayla's gonna give a couple of hers. First of all, we both use feed planning apps, so that way I can literally go in and like plan out what my feed is gonna look like. So I use Planoly or Planoly, I don't know how you say it, but I can literally go into Planoly and see my grid, and you can upload photos if you have like photos backlogged, and you can move them around and see which ones look better. Now, when it comes to actually taking photos, a lot of times, especially when we're obviously shooting, we use my Sony, which is a professional camera. I have a Sony a6500, or we use Kayla's Canon. But if you're just shooting on an iPhone, like if you're taking a gym selfie, or if you're just taking like a selfie, whatever it is, make sure, like #1 photo taking tip, make sure you're always pushing. First of all, make sure you're cleaning your little camera screen, but make sure you're tapping and creating the focus, like when you see that little box and the little sun come up. And what I normally do is I'll normally tap it and then I'll drag down a little bit. So actually I'll do a little screen record here. I'll normally tap and drag down a little bit. Say hello to my carpet. But what I've noticed when I'm trying to edit photos is it's easier to bring exposure up than to bring it down. So it's easier, in my opinion, and you might have a different opinion since you're like actually a professional, but it's easier to increase the exposure than to take an overexposed photo and bring it down. Like it looks a lot more fake whenever I try and bring overexposed photos down. And then just in general, it's a lot easier for me to edit my feed because I wear the same colors, and like my entire life, truly is this aesthetic, if you have not noticed. So the more color you incorporate into your wardrobe, that's totally cool if that's your thing, and that can create a beautiful feed. But just keep in mind, if you have a lot of clashing colors in a feed, then your feed's gonna look really not cohesive. Another thing for me, and this sounds very micromanagey, but that's just how I am, because like I view my feed as like a creative, fun process. I never, or at least rarely, I rarely post two like selfies back to back, because I just think that looks weird. I'll always have like, if I do like a selfie, and then I'll have like a professional photo, and then maybe I'll have like a mirror picture at the gym, and then maybe like a quote or like a picture of Luna or like whatever. Like mix it up. Try not to have the exact same pose or the exact same backdrop in 2 photos in a row, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so I do things just a little bit differently. I use the app Preview, which is basically the same exact thing. I think Emily likes Planoly better because of the aesthetic. As you could probably see on her phone, it was super white and clean.
I didn't even notice that. I don't even know what Preview looks like.
Preview is a bunch of colors.
I'll
show you the app in a minute. So Preview is a app that is super colorful with like their little icon is super colorful, but I liked it. I didn't see Planoly. I might try it out now.
I literally just saw Planoly on like a list of photo editing apps that you should have, and I was like, okay, let's try it, and I ended up really liking it. So
I think they're both the same from what I've seen.
Yeah, same concept. Like,
so great job, guys. But the other thing I do that is different from Emily is I'm not as thoughtful about like the type of photo I'm taking. I plan out based on colors.
So I really like that about yours too. Like, it's fun.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Remind me of Amrezi.
Yeah, I like that. There's also, oh gosh, what's her name? Color Me Courtney does this. I listen to the Skinny Confidential all the time, and they had Color Me Courtney on there, and I absolutely fell in love with her as soon as I heard her speak about her content and how she plans it. I just love that she has to go out and search for these specific places. That's a lot of what I already do. So I was like, what inspiration can I take from that? So what I am currently doing, and this may change, is each row has a specific color. So you're gonna have a color that pops in each row. So my last color was red. My color for in a couple weeks, which is my bachelorette trip, it's gonna be all white. So
makes sense.
We're gonna have lots of like white, creams, really cool colors coming in. So we'll see how that works with my skin tone, but more to come on that. So that's how I plan my feed, is based on color. I don't think about space too much, but at one point in time I did, and I've archived all of the photos already, but I would post maybe like every 3rd photo it had some sort of quote or a box around it in order to break up the feed. So you could take a look at other people's feeds that are more visual. I try not to put too much into it because it can be very time consuming for someone who is sometimes a little bit of a perfectionist.
It's really easy to plan out just a fun, cool feed, especially when you have really good presets. So we're gonna wrap up this video here. Like we said a million times, we are so excited to bring these to you guys. We genuinely hope that you love them, and we are so grateful to the tons of people that sent their photos in. Seriously, that helped Kayla out so much. It
was so helpful. I mean, I had the opportunity to see all of you beautiful people, and I gained a lot of new connections through it, which has been awesome. Yeah. So I really appreciate all of the contributions you've made so far, and the support and enthusiasm around these presets.
Oh yeah, I get asked about it literally every day.
Yep,
and
same.
Like, shout out to you guys, because literally one of the first things she said when she like started to get photos coming in is she's like, you've got some of the like nicest followers in the whole world. So like, shout out to you guys.
Yeah, you guys made me feel really great about myself.
Yeah, which you should, because you're wonderful. But these presets, like we said, will be available on Friday, October 4th at 9 a.m. EST. We have a little special offer for you guys coming from YouTube. So exclusive for my YouTube subscribers, watchers, viewers, all of that. If you use the code YouTube10 at checkout, that will give you 10% off of your order. We tried to price these as fairly as possible. We looked at other preset packs and how they typically run. Ours will be $30 for 6 presets, so that's $5 per preset. If you buy the, and that's for mobile. So if you buy the mobile and the desktop or laptop versions together, then it will be $50, so it's a slight knockoff of the price. But if you look at most other preset packs, you're going to be paying like $50, $75 for like 3, I think. So we tried to keep it competitive and keep it reasonable, just because we know not everybody wants to spend $50, $75 on presets. We wanted this to be something fun that, you know, the vast majority of you guys could use and love. So that is going to be it from us. Make sure you go and follow the Instagram page at EMANDDARBYPRESETS. Make sure you give Kayla a follow at Kayla Derbyshire. If you're not already following me, it's just at M_Dunc. So if you have any questions, issues with downloading, anything like that, make sure you go ahead and just send your questions to
presetsupport@KaylaDarbyshire.com.
and we will get you all squared away. That's it, you guys. We can't wait for you guys to use and love these presets. And don't forget, use the hashtag EMANDDARBYPRESETS. Tag us and let us know which preset you used on your photo for a chance to get featured on the page. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.